Okay, so let's take a look at exercise 10-2. We're going to delve a little bit deeper into how we account for, in this case, it'll be a discount. The premium accounting is similar. It's just kind of reversed since discounts start with a debit and then we amortize or salt those away with equal credits. Premiums start with a credit and we amortize those away with equal debits. But let's talk about how that actually looks. We're actually going to prepare an amortization table as a proof. So let's look at exercise 10-2. TANO issues bonds with a par value of $180,000 on January 1st, 2017. The bond's annual contract rate is 8%, and interest is paid semi-annually on June 30th and December 31st. The bonds mature in 3 years. Annual market rate at the date of issuance is 10%, and the bonds are sold for $170,862. All right. What is the discount on these bonds at issuance? All right, so in this particular problem, all we need to do is subtract the so all we're doing is subtracting the par amount from the amount they sold for, which we can call proceeds, or well, the proceeds is given as is the amount they sold for. That wasn't what I wanted to do. We'll back that out. And we'll just take the difference between these two numbers. All right, so your discount, $9,138. How much total bond interest expense will be recognized over the life of these bonds? All right. So there are two components to that. The first piece is, what is the semi-annual interest payment, which we haven't computed yet, so let's do that. Face amount, contract rate, (6/12) since they're semi-annual. All right. So your semi-annual interest payment is $7,200. All right. And these are 3-year bonds. So that $7,200 is going to be made 6 times. All right, so that this $7,200 is going to be made every 6 months for 3 years. So the 6 payments equals a total of $43,200. But since the bonds are issued at a discount, we also have to factor in that discount, all right, which we're going to add to it. If it were a premium, we would subtract it, but we're going to add the discount. That we figured in part 1. All right, so total interest over the life of the bonds is our total interest expense, $52,338. All right, doesn't ask for it, but what does that journal entry look like? I think it helps here, so I'm going to plug this in here as well. All right. Your debit is bond interest expense. All right. The bond interest payment is going to be $7,200. Your bond interest expense is going to be, in this particular problem, since this is the total expense over 6 payments, it's going to be 1/6 of that. All right. Then we'll need a credit to balance this entry. And we can plug this, but there's a way we can check as well. So minus 8,007, so that gives us 1,523. And if we're living right, this discount divided by 6 should give us that same number. And it does. All right. So that checks. All right. And so this is your journal entry every 6 months on June 30th and December 31st for the 3 years that the bonds are outstanding. All right. The next thing that this problem asks for is an amortization. Right. And I'll provide this as a proof of our visualization of how we amortize the discount or premium away over the life of the bonds. I won't specifically ask you guys to prepare one of these. This is really more offered for understanding of what happens to the discount. All right. Okay, so if we think of the life of these bonds, there's going to be 6 payments. All right. And we can actually number those starting with 0, which would be the time of issuance, going through 6. All right, so the bonds are issued on January 1st, 2017. And at that time, actually, let me insert some rows here so I have more space. All right. So we'll have an unamortized discount. That represents the discount that has not yet been charged to expense. And then we'll also have carrying value. All right, and at any point in time, the carrying value is the par amount, or the maturity value of the bonds, less the unamortized discount. All right. So what we'll see is that at issuance, the carrying value equals the proceeds, or the amount of cash that was received. All right. All right. So at issuance, the bonds have a carrying value of $170,862. Right, because that is the par value of $180,000 less the unamortized discount of $9,138. All right. So each period we're amortizing, because keep in mind the discount has a debit balance, and we're crediting it this much. So that's going to reduce the discount. All right. So after the first interest payment, the discount of 115.23 has been amortized, and the unamortized portion is 7,615. All right. So the carrying value increases, and we would expect that it will increase up until the maturity date. All right. So let's see if this works. All right. So 2, which would be December 31st, because these are the semi-annual periods. Like, I'll label it that. So period 2, that is December 31st, 2017. And we've had our second bond interest expense. So the unamortized premium is 6,000, and the carrying value should increase by that amount, right? And that process repeats itself in perpetuity. Well, for the life of the bonds, I should say. So at the end of year 2, which is the fourth semi-annual interest period, bonds have a carrying amount of $176,954. And if we were to, or at the end of year 3, which would be the maturity date, if we're doing this right, the unamortized discount as of December 31st, 2019, which would be the maturity date, should be 0, which it is, and the carrying value is going to be equal to the face amount, right? And what this means is that the unamortized discount account now has a zero balance, and as the bonds are paid off, their carrying value is equal to the par amount, which is the amount that the company is going to have to write a check for. All right, so that's how discount works, and premium would work very similar, with the exception that the carrying value would be greater than the par amount with a premium, so you'd add it instead of subtracting it like we did here, but you'd amortize it away in the same amount, and at the maturity date, the carrying value would equal the par amount. Right. So that's an amortization table. Again, you're not going to have to prepare those. I offer that as a proof so that we can visually see what happens to the discount over the life of the bonds. Right. And this is a fairly short term, 3 years, but it would work the same over 15, 20, or 30-year bonds. We would just have a lot more numbers on the screen. Okay, that's all for now. Until next time.